billions of people that are not yet part of their audience that they are going to cultivate. So I don't know how quickly that will happen, but I don't think there's any obvious reason to think the world won't fall as in love with this sport as we have, because it's just so incredibly captivating. So I would say
Uber,
there will come a time when pro football will be as popular
Uber.
internationally as
I
basketball
love
is,
you.
let's say. I don't know how long that will
Rick,
take. Probably not
I
five
love
years,
you.
but probably not 50 either. So something in the neighborhood of 10 to 15 years from now, I think the league will have grown that much more. Now the question becomes, will those other countries have their own leagues? Right, and in the NBA, there are professional basketball leagues all through Europe and all over the place. Japanese baseball, I've asked many people who are over there. They say Japanese baseball is a step above AAA baseball. That's how high quality the baseball is. Will there be
Hockey,
NFL, Pro
hockey, a lot of
American Football League,
international leagues as
hockey?
well. Yeah, a lot of them.
Absolutely. Almost all of these sports have international leagues. So will all those people just become NFL fans, or will all of a sudden pro football spring up in all of these other places? I don't know the answers to those, but I think there are. What I'm trying to say is there are tens of billions of dollars left on the table right now globally by pro football, and they will go get it.
And I think that's why flag football is so important to your last point right there. World Baseball Classic, you just watched what it did, being a global thing. The Olympics, whenever teams or sports are able to play in that particular thing, you get a unifying feel from all these different countries for said sport. I mean, the amount of people that became hockey fans in America because the boys and the girls won, it's like, hey, we like that. If football could have that in 10 years from now, that would be insane. But I think flag football would be the only way in. Because I think the pads and the helmet and everything that it takes to kind of get into tackle football, it's like the flags can actually be dropped at parks and like at fields.
Yeah.
And like, hey, put these on. And then once they start watching, and I assume the NFL is going to do a great job with the videos and commercials, and I assume the social and digital and how to play flag football. But it's like, that's much more accessible for people, I think, that don't really know the game. I think it's, let alone the women's football that can still, there is so much. It feels like we're not even near what football could be. And we are grateful for that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we are, Greeny. Yes, we are for that.
I got to tell you, my son and his buddy were over, so 22, 23-year-old guys. And I'm watching college basketball. It was the first weekend of the NCAA tournament. And they were dying to watch the flag football. Whatever this is, 2 weeks ago when all those guys did, Logan Paul and all the NFL guys played against the flag football players. So I will admit that I would not have turned it on otherwise. But we wound up watching the whole thing. And I will tell you, I was endlessly entertained. I thought it was outstanding entertainment. I thought seeing the NFL guys trying to figure out how to handle it. Luke Kuechly got a penalty on literally every play because he just kept hitting people. Brady threw the best pass of the day. Tom Brady right now would be the starting quarterback on at least 7 teams in the NFL. And I think when he said he was only kidding about coming back, I don't buy that for a minute. I think he actually is, or at least did give some serious thought to coming back. And why wouldn't he? He would be better than the starting quarterback on a lot of NFL teams. All of that said, I was endlessly entertained by the flag football, and I would watch it again. If there were flag football to watch, I would continue watching it.
Yeah, I love Tom Brady got to showcase a little bit of the pastime. Now, his team would only score that one. That was it. There was not a lot of other highlights as Team USA, the actual flag footballers, dominated the NFL guys. But yeah, Tom Brady showcased that he still got it. He said that the owners weren't specifically impressed with the idea of an owner playing in the league as well. What side are you on? Obviously, as we're going into a negotiation, that's probably going to be a part of it all. But the flag footballers that we have for Team USA, I think we're going to be winning every world championship.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how long it's going to take other countries to figure this one out. How about that move? Huh? That was the one. Running full speed. Bang, and a boom. Boom, bang. And they couldn't. You just couldn't. And then Luke Kuechly just, to hell with this.
Screw this.
To hell with this guy. And Jalen Ramsey, the same thing. So I'm not 100% sure if flag football to tackle football will be 100%er for these international people that we get in. But the more people in the ecosystem, the better. And I'm excited for the game to continue to grow. Okay, the boys have a couple other sports questions, if that's okay, especially in the time that we're in right now. I know you know nothing about the sport of baseball. We're kind of the baseball people at ESPN now, but Ty has a question for you.
Yeah, Greeny, I actually do view you as somewhat of a baseball historian, and this might be a little bit, overreactionary because it has just happened, but listen, the pitch clock was huge, cutting games down, so we're not spending 3.5 to 4 hours, when you're watching every single game like I am. But Do you think it's possible that ABS is the best development in the history of baseball? I mean, early on, we're only 6 games. We're only 6 games in. We got games ending on this. Like, it has added just such a flair and an excitement to really every game, and it doesn't matter when it's coming, whether it's the 3rd inning or the 9th or whatever part it is. Like, it has just been a rousing success so far.
Yes, I agree. And I would quickly say that the people who run Major League Baseball are always criticized and sometimes very much deserve to be, and never given any credit for some of the progressive moves that they make against the will of all of the traditionalists who sit out there and never want to stop telling you how it was in the 60s. So they deserve a lot of credit for incorporating the pitch clock, again, against a lot of people's will, and now incorporating ABS, which I have been screaming for forever. First and foremost, the idea that umpires' mistakes or officiating mistakes are just human nature and a part of the charm of the sport has always been ridiculous. As I wrote in a book in 2010, Mike and I did a book, and we said the human element in sports sucks. It's the reason that we have deodorant. It's the reason we don't walk around smelling bad all the time, because we can do something about it. So why in the world wouldn't we use technology now that we can overturn terrible calls? I agree with you. The way they do the ABS, which has shown sort of there's like this drama, this dramatic build. For those of you who watch tennis, you've seen the exact same thing. When they show you it's in, it's out, whatever it is, you build to that moment. Yes. Is it the greatest change or invention in the history of the sport? I'd have to give that a little thought. I mean, there was a time when they lowered the mound. There was a time when there's the dead ball era. There have been some pretty significant changes in the history of the sport. But in recent memory, I think the two that you mentioned, the pitch clock and the ABS, have made it more watchable. See, that's the thing. All other sports make changes in order to become more watchable. And baseball and baseball fans and baseball traditionalists have always been hesitant to accept that. And that has never made any sense to me. So while I don't know if I'll say it's the greatest move they've ever made, I think it has been a rousing success and will continue to be.
You go back to the NHL work stoppage. I believe Gary Bettman changed some rules to make it more watchable hockey, because it was getting too it got rid of kind of the goon. The goon kind of got out, but they said it made it better. The NFL has been very, very aggressive in how do we make this a more fan-friendly thing with the rules changes. MLB doing that with the pitch clock, I loved it. I loved everything about it. I hated the whole pat-down, hand-check, spider tech thing that they have in there. Like, Mason Miller the other day comes out to corn. That entrance was incredible. Pittsburgh kid, by the way, whenever you talk. And, yeah, Pittsburgh kid. He's throwing 104. He comes out for that entire thing. It's a big entrance. Old buddy comes out with the horns.
Edwin Diaz.
In L.A., they come out to that whole dramatic entrance. And then who do they meet in the thing? The ump giving him a full pat down. It's like, that can't be the end of him coming out here. Okay, can we at least wait until he throws a couple pitches to do that? Like, how do we make that better? I didn't like that. That's like, yeah, welcome to the show. And it's the ump. I need your hands. I need your hat. I need your belt. I need
your
hat.
fucking glove.
I need everything you got. Like that was just a weird thing to them to do. But it feels like that was a massive, apologize for the pun here, sticking point for baseball as a whole and pitchers. Is that accurate? Because they're sticking to this, it feels like, in the most ridiculous time, just to showcase that they're doing it. They are doing it. This is a real thing. Why is this such a real thing, and why don't they all just use it?
How they do it is one thing. That they are doing it is the right thing. Okay. You're trying to increase the offense in the sport. So I'm older than any of you guys. I remember a time when everything wasn't a strikeout, when they weren't bringing in guys who were throwing 104 in every inning. So the offense, as the game went on and as the pitcher's arms wore down, it was more exciting to watch, because you would see base hits and you would see guys getting on. And if you give pitchers unfair advantages, you allow them to violate the rule, either the spirit of the rule or, in this case, the actual rule, in ways that benefit. It would be like changing rules in pro football to benefit the defense. If you'll notice,
we don't want that.
50 rule changes in pro football in the last 30 years. Every single one of them is intended to create more offense. You want more things to gamble on. You want more things for fantasy. You want more things that are going to bring more people to the game and more people into the tent. So you can quibble with how they're going about doing it. I won't disagree with you there. But that they are doing it so that pitchers cannot have an unfair advantage, I actually think is the right thing to do.
I did kind of quibble there a little bit, if I had to say so myself, but I appreciate you laying out why we wouldn't want that as a society. So go ahead and pat them down then. I want big, You mentioned a lot of different eras there in development. Science, human science was a big era for baseball as well. I remember that one. We all did. We all watched that. Then rules obviously, everybody can't be just you know. We can't be 280-pound baboons. That just is not a healthy thing. That's supposed to. You can't be 5'8", sir, and come back at 6'4". Like that is not how this can actually go from a health perspective. But if we're getting, I mean, it's natural. Humans see big. Like we will pay attention to that. I also think the stars performing is a big deal. This Shohei guy, can you tell me a little bit about this? This dude. I think he's driven to be a pitcher and to prove that he's an MLB pitcher and everything like that. I think that's his natural mentality after we got to talk to him a little bit. I'm not saying other people haven't found that out, but my feeling after talking to him is like, oh, this guy wants to be viewed as a pitcher. Like he would like to be viewed as a good pitcher. So it seems like he's going to do that this year while also raking for the Dodgers. You, as baseball historian, baseball lover, can you try to explain this for me to explain it a little bit better, like the pat down that the umps did?
He's the best player that ever lived. I don't think that's an exaggeration at this point. He is someone who, if he were to pitch every 5 days, would right now probably be the betting favorite to win the Cy Young. So if you think about it, we've seen pitchers win the Cy Young and the MVP in the past. Not frequently, but it happens. Most of the time, voters will not vote for the pitcher as the MVP because they'll say he has his own award. And I've never actually agreed with that, but let's even say that is the case. Pitchers have their own award, it's the Cy Young Award, and position players have their own award, it's the MVP award. He could legitimately win both. He is inarguably the best offensive player in the game, and he is on the short list of the best pitchers in the game. That's never happened before. Certainly 100 years ago and beyond that, pitchers would also bat. And Babe Ruth is the most famous example of a guy who was a great hitter and a great pitcher, but never, and to this extent, never over this prolonged period of time. By the time he was hitting more home runs than entire teams were in the late 1920s, he was no longer pitching. To be as dominant a starting pitcher as there is in the sport and the best offensive player in the sport at the same time has literally never happened. Or if it has, not only hasn't happened in this century, it didn't happen in the previous century. So I don't think it's an exaggeration right now to say he is the best player that ever lived.
Okay. Yeah. Happy to see that we're a part of that. And I hope he's on, because he's already been on the mound for a World Baseball Classic Championship, right? Mm-hmm. He's already been on the mound in the ninth inning for that. Got the dub. It'd be sick to see him, Game 7, kind of handling that thing. And then also, why not?
Or walk off.
Why not? Why not? And then on the flip side, doing the other thing. He's special. He seems to be so locked in, especially with everything that's happened around him, Greeny. Like that's all just like a blip, obviously, in his past and his recent history that we have kind of learned of this sensation, the greatest of all time, you call it. But there's been a lot of shit. There's been a lot of shit here. And when you got to focus on a tiny little baseball, I don't know how he's been. I mean, that's an incredible. And then there's 2 streaks happening right now that are just like outrageous. Longest on base streak in MLB at 36 games. Oh yeah, longest scoreless inning pitching streak in MLB, 22 2/3. And what if? I mean, Bruce just asked this question as he reminded me of this this tweet from MLB. He's like, what if this just goes forever? What if this never ends? What if that number goes to 180 games and this guy just continues? There's a chance that could happen.
Good.
Shohei will follow along with all of it. Okay, let's pivot away from baseball. Even though we've fallen in love this year, I don't know if you've witnessed this. We've done the baseball this year. I don't know how long it's going to last, but we've been doing it.
Because the sport is better. I mean, it's more exciting to watch for the reasons that we've just outlined. It is more exciting to watch a baseball game than it was 7 or 8 years ago, and I think it's only going to continue to go in that direction.
Yeah, I'm a simpleton. You make it better, I'll go that way. Mm-hmm. You know, I think I'm probably a good little thermometer, you know. How's this guy feel? He's a dumb dipshit. That is probably a good idea. Baseball, good right now. You know what else good? College hoops. And it's different, it feels like. Go ahead, Con Man.
Yeah, Greeny, I feel like the Final Four has a lot of juice. I believe we got a Hembo stat earlier. This is the first time both games are under 2 or 3 point spreads. Yeah, here it is, 2 points. Rather, how do you feel about this weekend? Arizona, Michigan feels like a matchup for the Final Four, big national championship matchup, and then UConn, Illinois. The UConn finish was incredible, and Illinois has kind of slowly dominated a lot of teams on their road to the Final Four. What do you kind of expect out of Saturday and then inevitably Monday?
Illinois is really big, so I watch a lot of Big Ten. I went to a Big Ten school, so I watch the Big Ten all year. Illinois is really big. My instinct is to say that I think they win that game, but after what I saw Connecticut do on Sunday, you just can't bet against them because that was one of the most remarkable things I've ever seen. This play, this moment that you're showing right now, I think now that we've had some time, we did the show on Monday morning and we were almost wall to wall with it. But then I had a couple of days that I was traveling and thinking, I think it is. I think it goes with the single among the most dramatic moments in the history of the sport, like those one shining moment montages, all that stuff that you see. It goes with Leitner. It goes with Chris Jenkins. It goes with Lorenzo Charles. I think it's that significant when you consider who it was against, when you consider that was in the Elite Eight. And I think it has to go with right in the group with the greatest moments in the history of the tournament and of the sport. So I wouldn't bet against Connecticut, but I think Illinois is the better team, and I think they win. Michigan, Arizona is like I heard Charles Barkley say that's Ali Frazier. They've been overwhelmingly the two best teams. That game Michigan played on Sunday was over in the first 10 minutes against Tennessee. They're ridiculously good. But I think Arizona has been better, and I think the single best player on the court is Acuff. So if I had to bet on it right now, I think I would bet Arizona, Illinois wind up playing for the championship on Monday night, and I would bet Arizona. I think they've been the best team in the tournament. I think there were moments all year where they looked like the best team, and I think in the end they are the best team.
Yeah, Arizona's outrageous. Obviously, have knocked off some big names in their run in this. Koa Pete, who committed on our show to Arizona, who has football family in this entire thing. Yep. He's been special, man.
Yeah.
He's breaking freshman records all over the place. Then you go back to that UConn, the shot you're talking about being in the pantheon of March Madness magical moments. He's freshman from Indiana, sends his team back to Indianapolis, which is where he's from, basically right here. I mean, there's just so many storylines around all the different games. March Madness's numbers are up immensely. I don't know if you saw that, Greeny. We're touching like 19 million for some of these games. Obviously, sports are fantastic, but these types of things are back and good for society. And the Elite Eight's good. Final Four's good. These guys got the mentality they want to win it all. Pete Thamel just reported that Dan Hurley was quoted as saying in his press conference today, "We came here for rings, not watches."
Okay.
Love it.
Good to know.
I guess you get watches for the Final Four.
Oh, I did not know.
Yeah, so probably asked them about the gift bag, potentially how that whole thing went. We would like to be perfectly clear. We did not hear his actual quote. We are just strictly making up the context around Pete Thamel's quote that he has given here. But they certainly asked him about how nice that watch was and how many watches he's got. And bar came right out of his mouth. He's insane. Is this how insane in a good way? He's passionate. He loves his team. This man is a maniac. Is this college basketball like since the beginning of time? Because Bob Knight, obviously, we remember that. I got a chance to watch Coach Huggins. I mean, he was an intense guy. Coach K, obviously, pretty animated over there. It feels like college hoops has a lot of passion, a lot of pageantry, a lot of emotion, and a lot of head coaches that are kind of the staples of the sports who are very charismatic, I would say, in its entirety. Is this how it's always been, Greeny, and what are your thoughts on it?
Yes. Well, because players have always come and go, and the coaches are the constants. The coaches have largely always been the biggest stars in collegiate basketball in particular. Even the greatest players in college basketball historically would only play 3 or 4 years, whereas the coaches are there forever. So when you think back to UCLA, yes, if you know about it, you would think of Alcindor and Walton. But the reality is you think of it as John Wooden's run. You think of Coach K and Duke. You think of those eras because the players come and go and the coaches remain the same. Michigan State basketball is Tom Izzo at this point more than it's Magic Johnson. The one thing there with Hurley, so I had him on Get Up on Monday morning, and I really regret that I had not seen this moment at that point. I don't know why I didn't see it. I don't know when that video went viral. I raced right out of the studio on Monday morning at 10 o'clock and raced to the airport to fly to Phoenix. So it wasn't until I got to Phoenix, I landed whatever time, 6, 7 hours later, that I saw this. And so I so regret that I did not ask Hurley what the hell is going on there, because I Bob Knight, I never saw him do that. I never saw any coach, no matter how intense they are. I have no idea what that moment is about. I know they've both downplayed it, and obviously there was no outcome. But can you imagine if the official were to call a tech when he's there and the outcome of this game actually turns on that? So I don't know what in the world he's doing there, but that's something I've never seen a coach do.
According to our source, is close to the situation. They're telling us that he couldn't hear what the ref was saying. The ref was trying to tell him something. He couldn't hear what he was saying, so he leaned in. And then he has a very good relationship with said ref, because we know he does have relationships with refs. So it just kind of, that's how it all came to be. I think that's why both the ref and he downplayed it. And I think Coach K, I think, immediately said, like, thankful that the ref